So Cassie's literally on the stand right now. This dude right here is her current husband, father to her 2 children, and the baby that she is 8.5 months pregnant with right now. Convenient for when they did the trial. Make her look maternal. Make Diddy look like a monster. He is that, though, for the record. But this guy right here might be the center of how Diddy ends up getting off of this case. Because you want to know what the absolute ultimate ace up their sleeve could be? Actually, let me take it like this. If I am Diddy's defense, I am going to dig into their life in a way that you could not even, every resource I had would be into looking into their life. Because if you can prove that this dude right here and Cassie have ever participated in any similar behavior that Diddy and them did, like the freak-offs or whatever, if she decided that she liked it and she wanted to introduce her new husband to that, if they could prove that they've done that, this case is over. Okay, that would kill the case against Diddy. All right, so we are in the thick of it now. Not jury selection, this is the actual trial. Cassie, the star witness for the prosecution, is testifying today. We've got a bunch of updates on what she's saying on the stand. We got a bunch of stuff from witnesses who testified yesterday and then were cross-examined. I mean, like I've got like basically the entire trial to update you guys on so far. I think there's multiple witnesses. You got a security guard who watched Diddy beat up Cassie, and he talks about what happened afterwards, which is pretty nuts. Involves a 3-word threat. That's how they characterized it in the newspaper. And then you got a couple escorts that were consistently hired to do these things with Cassie, and then you have Cassie herself is testifying right now, which is pretty wild, dude. This whole entire case is wild. But what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the actual charges that Sean Diddy Combs is facing. Now, I want to make perfectly clear on the front end of this video. Have we been talking for a minute? Because I got to make sure we're over 1 minute before I say the following. Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, Diddy had one of the escorts urinate in Cassie's mouth. Okay, that's what came up in the court, in the testimony yesterday. So if at any point it sounds like I'm defending this guy, okay, like where I'm going, why are you defending Diddy? It's like, defending Diddy. Guys, are you serious? I'm not defending this guy. There are 2 issues at hand. Is Diddy the biggest scumbag on earth who I wouldn't let within 1,000 yards of any female that I care about? Yes. Okay. And then there's the actual case itself and whether you want to live in a world where people are judged under the same criteria. And I'm not necessarily saying that they are, that this is a bad case or whatever. But what we're going to start with right now is we're going to start with the exact charges that he is facing so that you can interpret the testimony correctly, all right? So these are the counts that he is facing, okay? Count 1, racketeering conspiracy. This count accuses Mr. Combs of conspiring to engage in sex trafficking, forced labor, enticement to engage in prostitution, kidnapping, and other offenses. The count also says he used his global business empire to enrich himself and associates, in particular those who have demonstrated loyalty to him and a willingness to conceal crimes. Life in prison, maximum. That's the one right there. There is no way that anybody can have any idea about whether or not that case is strong because you don't know who's testifying. Okay, there's a lot of Jane Does and there's a lot of that stuff. But that's one of those ones where it's like, all right, they might have an ironclad case there. I have no idea. Okay. These are the ones that you can have a pretty strong opinion on already. Count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. This count concerns victim 1, Cassie Ventura, Mr. Combs' longtime girlfriend and the R&B singer known as Cassie. Mr. Combs lost a bid to keep the footage of him beating her up out of court. We already know that. Okay, so that's the sex trafficking is all Cassie. Okay, like so his girlfriend that he was together with for 10 years, and their repeated behavior for 10 years or whatever, where they would pay an escort. And they would come and have sex with Cassie in front of Diddy while Diddy watched and directed them around. Okay? So that is the sex trafficking. Him and his girl of 10 years, they eventually broke up, right? It's not like she couldn't get out of the relationship. We're not talking about a situation where it's like, if I can't have you, no one can. Although he kind of did do that because he blew up Kid Cudi's car. So, now, the question is, do I think that she was terrified of him after what I've heard already? Absolutely. Now, this guy right here is Andrew Bustamante, okay? He's a former CIA agent who does the rounds on podcasts. He's very interesting. The YouTube algorithm has figured out that I'm very interested in what he has to say. They show me all of his videos. Now, don't you take for granted that the YouTube algorithm knows that right now you're thinking, all I want to do is watch Jesse on Fire talk. The only way you can know for sure is if you hit subscribe, which you probably should, and then you like this video. But right here, what he's talking about is he's talking about whether or not you're dating a sociopath or a psychopath, and he's talking specifically about how people behave when they are in a situation where they are, in fact, dating a psychopath or sociopath, etc. So listen to this really quick because it applies directly to the Cassie situation and what we're going to hear in the testimony.
Politely is called fawning. We call them the 4 F's of parasympathetic response. In a more vulgar world, we talk about fight, flight, freeze, and but in a more appropriate scientific world, you hear them talk about fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fighting is obvious. It's when you fight whatever the stressor is. Flee is obvious. It's when you run away from whatever the stressor is. Freezing is relatively easy to understand. It's when you're so overwhelmed with stress, you don't take any action at all.
Yeah, you hear girls who have been like violently, like sexually assaulted on this, and they say they just froze. Like they just literally like they froze and they went outside their body. That's one of those, like, that's that, right? They know they can't win a fight. They can't flee, so they freeze.
And then fawning is the most difficult one to understand, but fawning is very common. When you're faced with stress, you submit to the dominant stress and you try to appease it in an effort to find some pathway of moving forward. It's the most easy to see in children. Some children...
Okay, got it. So that is how that applies directly to this case. All right. Oops, that's the wrong article. Now, if I were a prosecutor, that is certainly something I would use to paint this as, she was a victim for all these years. But like I said, we're going to look into the actual testimony and decide what we think. All right. Count 3, transportation of Ventura and commercial sex workers with the intent to engage in prostitution. 10 years in prison. 10 years in prison. Okay. That right there. All right. Now, if we can't all agree, okay, if we can't all agree that particular count, if he was given 10 years for that, would be outlandishly absurd if you take away all of the other stuff, right? If you're just saying, like, because that's how you have to think about the law, right? So if you're saying that a man and a woman who have been in a relationship for, let's say, 8 years, and they like to engage in, like, voyeur stuff, they go get a male prostitute, and then they drive that guy from Miami to Fort Lauderdale or whatever, and then they get a hotel, and then they do their thing, and then he leaves. You think that the dude should get 10 years in prison for that? Does that sound reasonable to you guys? Okay, so that's why I'm just trying to point out that, like, you need to think about these things, not because Diddy is a piece of shit, because he is, but just think about that when we're thinking about what we're hoping happens here, you know. Count 4 and 5 accuse Mr. Combs of similar crimes involving victim 2, who has not been publicly identified, is expected to testify under a pseudonym. So I would assume it's going to be very similar stuff. All right, now it's that time. We're going to get into the Cassie testimony, but first I want to tell you about the sponsor of this video, Prize Picks. Now, if I told you that you could make $50 for free if you take 90 seconds of your time to do something, it's something that you would do, especially if the 90 seconds is going to be something fun. Because that's exactly what Prize Picks and I are offering you right now. I want to be very clear. There is no gimmick here. There's no chance where this does not lead to $50 free for you. There's nothing you have to pick right. There's no game you have to win. If you play a $5 roster on Prize Picks, you will get $50 into your account, whether you win or lose the roster that you entered. How much you can win in addition to the automatic $50 depends on the size of the roster that you pick, but I'll let you play around with that a little bit. Now, you also could try to win real big and play more than $5, but you don't have to. Take a look over here. Look at what I stand to win if I hit this roster. Hold me accountable to this. I'm putting it on my channel. I'm putting my face on it. Hold me accountable, and also hold me accountable to this. This game is super fun. You're going to want to play. As you can see on the left side of the screen, all you do is go through the athletes that you want to pick in a specific sport. In this case, we're doing UFC because my girl Rose Namajunas is fighting on Saturday. In addition to MMA, they have college basketball, college football, NBA, NFL, any sport you could think of, you can play on Prize Picks. Now, in the roster you see over here, this is obviously a UFC roster. I'm playing a $5 game, which means if this was my first game, I would see a free $50 put into my account the second that the game starts. So come join me for Prize Picks. It's an amazing game. You'll be supporting my channel and you'll be getting free money. Also, look at my roster, take a screenshot, and then you can see how I did. And also, I want to know who you guys are picking. Send me your rosters if you want. Link is in the description. Use promo code JesseOnFire for the $50 bonus, and that is what it is. All right, so we're going to start with Cassie's testimony because I assume that's what people are most interested in, although there's a lot of other really interesting stuff that they went through yesterday. So this is right when it starts, okay? So the defense had asked that Cassie Ventura's husband, Alex Fine, be barred from watching her testimony. Sean Combs' lawyers say they may need to call Fine as a witness later. The prosecution pushing back, saying Ventura needs her support system while on the stand. They met in the middle. Prosecution agreed that Fine would leave for Ventura's testimony regarding the allegation that Combs raped her in 2018. Okay, so here's the deal. When they say that they might want to call Fine as a witness, what I'm very interested to hear is whether they're going to ask him, have you guys ever partaken in anything like this? Okay, because if I'm Diddy's defense team, okay, if I'm Diddy and the defense team, and I assume that they have people that are at least as smart as me, okay, I am going to go hard in the paint. I'm going to dig into their life, and I'm going to find out if they have ever participated in any kind of stuff like this. Because the second that Cassie has participated in any kind of group sex thing with her new guy, that destroys this case, okay? You understand that, right? Like, that will destroy the case. So when Diddy's team says that, we might want to call him to the stand. They might have a massive ace up their sleeve, okay? That would be the ultimate ace up the sleeve. If they had, the ability to prove that they had participated in the exact same behavior. Then it's like, you coerced her? Oh, Diddy was coercing her, and then she got with a new dude, and they're doing the exact same thing? I mean, was Diddy, doing it, through osmosis? You know what I mean? So we'll see. Anyway, I also wonder, it's probably good that he's not going to be in there, bro. If that was me, I don't know how he could be in the same room as that guy, dude. If it was Gabrielle, they have 2 kids. She's pregnant with their 3rd kid, Cassie and this guy. Okay? If someone made me watch a video of a dude dragging Gabrielle down the hall like that, beating up Gabrielle, I had seen that video. Dude, I actually, I don't know how he did it. I don't know how this guy is dealing with this. I don't know what I would do. I honestly don't. If I saw a video of someone doing that to Gabrielle, I can't even I don't know. I really don't. So, and I'm going to be honest though, dude. If Gabrielle was engaging in that type of behavior for 10 years, she would have a hard time convincing me that she was not an active participant. I'm just saying. Okay, so now we're at the beginning of the testimony. Okay, so Ventura just walked into the courtroom with the jury present. She's pregnant in her 3rd trimester. Why is that relevant? Probably because they did this on purpose. That's the thing that I thought about is so they timed the trial for May, which is when she's going to be 8.5 months pregnant. Now the judge has to make the final decision on when the trial's going to happen, and that's pretty convenient, because so when the Logan Paul thing happened, and believe me, I'm making a valid point here, I promise. When the Logan Paul thing happened with Dylan Dennis and Nina Agdal, right? And everybody was painting her like she was a whore because she had, done whatever with these dudes. I was like, listen, this is easy, dude. Don't worry about it. If you really love her, just put a kid in her, dude. Marry her and have a kid together, okay? That washes away any kind of stuff that she did before she was a mother. This is a different, I mean, that is the same as a Christian, born again baptism. Okay. The second she has a kid, it's a different part of her life. Now, if she starts behaving the same way after she has a kid, all right, the second she has a kid, new start. Okay. It's a psychological thing that humans do. So walking her in when she's 8.5 months pregnant and then having her describe the kind of behavior Diddy had an escort urinate in her mouth. Okay. That is going to leave the most impactful impression with the jury of, she was being forced into this. Look at this beautiful maternal woman. You know what I mean? Now, what I've always seen from Cassie, anytime that I've looked at her pictures, which actually just makes me sad and makes me hate Diddy, she looked like a good girl. That was honestly my view. I can always see, I can see innocent people. I can see jaded people who have seen a lot. I'm really, really fucking good at that, And when she was young, dude, when she was in her early mid-20s, even when she had been with Diddy for a while, she had a very innocent look to her. And I think that's why Diddy liked her. Because I think what he's into is he's like, what's his name from the WWE? I think he's into defiling things. I think he likes to take beautiful things and break them and destroy them. It's like a power game for him. He's a repulsive person, dude. I mean, just bottom line. Imagine being into watching someone piss in your girl's mouth, dude. Like, what could you possibly, like, that's what Vince McMahon did. He had the guy defecate on his side piece's head and then continue to have sex with her in front of him. Okay? And then Diddy is having an escort urinate in her mouth. Like, what do you think that's about, you guys? It's about defiling things. It's about taking something beautiful and breaking it for your own pleasure. It's a power thing. It's like a trait of a psycho, like an actual psycho. Anyway, so Ventura is asked to describe her relationship with Sean Combs. There were violent arguments that were usually result in some sort of physical abuse, dragging, different things of that nature. And again, read this asking yourself, like, is she proving that this is sex trafficking? Okay. She's being asked by prosecutors to define what a freak-off was. She said it basically entails the hiring of an escort and setting up this experience so I could perform for Sean. It involves Sean being able to watch me with another person and actually direct us on what we were doing. Eventually, it became a job for me, pretty much. Okay, so Ventura is describing the complex nature of her relationship with Sean Combs from their first freak-offs. She said those events caused her nervousness and confusion. She says she didn't understand how these encounters could be a turn-on, but she felt a responsibility to please Combs. I was confused, nervous, but also loved him very much. Listen, that's how all of those things start, by the way. Okay. I don't think there are a whole lot of girls who are, right out of the gate, like if they're sexually inexperienced, that it's something they fantasize about having, like, if, like I'm talking like an inexperienced person, like she was for sure when she first got with Sean. It's like, oh my God, what would be so hot is if I had like animal sex with someone in front of my man, Now they might grow to like get turned on by that, but I don't think that's a normal thing for like a person like her initially to fantasize. I could be wrong. I don't know. Now I'm completely talking out of my ass. But I think her emotional reaction to that is probably very common. Sean Combs ultimately controlled a lot of my life, Ventura says. Over time, she says the videos he shot of her during sexual encounters were blackmail material, which she feared could be put on the internet. He had many resources to do that. I mean, is there a person on earth who doesn't know how to put a video on the internet? Oh, he had a lot of resources. She's like, my God, he had an entire staff. It's like, I mean, how many people do you think it would take to upload a video to Twitter? What are you talking about? Do you know how to post things on Instagram? That's a weird comment. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that sounds like something that she was coached to say by the prosecutors. Because like he has many resources to do that. To upload something onto the internet. Okay. Ventura is visibly present. We already talked. Wait, what is going on here? She's speaking softly on the stand, lifting a tissue to dab her nose and her eyes. Ventura was asked what she knew of Sean Combs when she met him around 2005 when she was 19. I just knew that he was this larger-than-life entrepreneur, musician. I was a fan of his music. I didn't know much about him personally. Soon after, she said, she signed a 10-album deal with Combs' label. 10-album deal? Hey, you think he did that because he wanted to make sure that he produced 10 albums for her, or you think he wanted to lock her into him forever so that he could turn her into this? That right there is super suspicious to me, dude. I know I realize when I'm talking about stuff like that, like stuff like this, I pull weird stuff, like I hear myself say it and I'm pretty good at kind of like imagining if I was like not me listening to that. And it's like signed her to a 10-album deal. You think that's the most nefarious thing that you've heard here? I'm like, yes, it is actually. It is, because that sounds like he had targeted her from the beginning. Like, cause he knows once she signs that, like who knows better than a music executive what it means if you sign someone to a 10-album deal, like 10-album deal, 10 albums. That's essentially locking her down for her entire career for 100% sure to you. And it's not like she had some big established career. He got her, dude. Okay, so let's continue. She was asked why she wanted to be around Sean Combs. She said she wanted to be around Sean for the same reasons as everyone else at the time. He was just this exciting, entertaining, fun guy that also happened to have, my career in his hands. There you go, dude. There you go. Happened to have my career in his hands. Ventura is describing life with Combs once she started dating him. This lifestyle was much different, she says. He had assistants at his beck and call. He could get anything done quickly. He had respect from everyone, and he traveled quite a bit. At the beginning of her relationship with Combs, I think I was just enamored by him. We were having a good time. Okay, let's see if there are any updates. Yep. All right. Oh my God. A lot. Okay, here we go. Cassandra Ventura is explaining the complexity of her relationship with Sean Combs. At times, she is describing excitement, attraction, and a whirlwind. Their romance began on a trip to Miami where they had sex on a boat, and he gave her a blue dolphin ecstasy pill. Wow. So just right out of the gate, dude. Huh? Hey, right out of the gate, he's drugging her, dude. Wow. I'm sure he gave her that blue dolphin ecstasy pill without the intention of tapping that, dude. But when she didn't answer his phone call, she said he could call her incessantly or leave his assistants and security personnel to track her down. Wow, right out of the gate. Yep, he targeted her. Sean Combs' moods were extreme, Ventura says. He would object if she was being a brat, she adds. Make the wrong face, and the next thing I knew, I was getting hit in the face. Dude, fuck this guy, man. Jesus. Sean Combs' security personnel was around 24 hours a day. Cassandra says security protected him, kept an eye on me. All right, so now let's listen to some details about the escort who testified about graphic details about the music mogul. And I'll tell you this too. So also, now I'll tell you about that security guard. So the security guard testified that the day that Diddy had beat up Cassie in the Intercontinental and then dragged her down the hall and all that, that this security guard had come up. And as Diddy was dragging her in, he dragged her into the room, okay? He went in and grabbed a bag full of cash, threw it at the security guard, and said, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. I'm like, damn, okay? Like, that's that guy's life, okay? You want to know what Diddy's life was like? That. He did whatever he wanted, okay? Beat up women. He got away with everything. He shot a girl in the face in a club and got away with it, okay? Like the woman who got shot in that club has been saying for however many, 20 years, she's like, I literally watched Sean Puffy Combs point the gun and shoot me in the face. And they're like, nah, I don't believe her, yo. I think it was Shine Poe. So, I mean, and in this case, he just beats the shit out of a girl in front, like with cameras everywhere, drags her down in the hallway of a hotel. Okay. And then when there's a witness there, he walks into his room, grabs a bag of cash he has laying around and throws it at them and says, don't say anything, or don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone is way scarier, actually. Don't tell anyone. So that's his life. Okay. That's who we're dealing with here. And again, like, God, the audacity of doing it in a hotel is so crazy. Like if you're a person who's in any, like, I don't know. I don't know well, I'm sure it's a pretty high percentage of people who watch my content have ever been like in a physical fight in their life, but like if you are a person where there was a time in your life where fighting in the street was at least like a possibility that could at some point happen, anybody smart knows there are a few places you don't do it no matter what. And one of them is a fucking casino. Okay. Like a casino or a hotel, because you're on camera no matter 100% you're on a camera. So like, would you commit an assault? Like, and I'm not talking about sexual assault. I'm talking like would you punch a person if you knew for 100% sure that you're on camera? Of course not. And Diddy, no concerns, 5-star hotel, beating up a girl, dragging her down the hallway. No concern about that at all. All right, so let's listen to this.
On there, Sandra Endo is here with what's next in day 2 of this trial. Sandra.
Certainly a lot of graphic details emerging in this case already. Bob and Jen, a key witness in the Sean Diddy Combs trial, is expected to take the stand today. Of course, we're talking about the central figure in all this, R&B singer Cassie, Combs' ex-girlfriend. Now, yesterday, the jury listened as prosecutors alleged Combs used violence and intimidation to coerce women. The first witness was a Los Angeles police officer who worked security at the hotel where Combs was seen on video beating Cassie. The defense acknowledged Combs' bad temper, but said, quote, domestic violence is not sex trafficking. Dozens of people gathered outside the Manhattan courthouse in anticipation of what will be a very closely watched trial.
I do believe there's going to be a...
Okay. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to go to this one, because this one is here's the escort. Okay. So Daniel Phillips is the guy who was paid to have sex with her. One of them. The other one yesterday is the one who was the one who urinated in her mouth. So nice. So he said he was paid to have sex with Cassandra while Sean Combs watched. He's back on the stand. Oh, this is actually the same guy. Okay. So in his questioning, Sean Combs' attorney, Xavier Donaldson, is trying to establish that Cassie Ventura was a completely willing participant in the sexual encounters with him. Was Ventura the one who paid you? Phillips replies, yes. She wasn't high or drunk. Phillip replies, no, she was not. Is it fair to say she was in completely control of everything she did? And Phillips said, I cannot say that. I mean, sounds like she was in control. Xavier Donaldson, Sean Combs' lawyer, just finished questioning Daniel Phillips, who said he was paid to have sexual encounters with Cassandra Ventura on what the witness had said was the first time he saw Combs abuse her. Ooh. Phillip testified yesterday that Combs threw a liquor bottle that missed Ventura and then dragged her by the hair into a bedroom. The defense is lingering on an important part of Phillip's testimony that after the abuse, Combs said, are y'all ready to continue, referring to the sex. Donaldson is, I'm not laughing about that at all. That's just insane. That is absolutely insane. Are y'all ready to continue? Good God. I gotta marinate on that a second real quick. Okay, so he's suggesting Phillip told law enforcement, yada, yada, reason this, okay. Trying to prove that Combs forced or coerced Ventura into sex. If Combs pushed Ventura to continue with sex after he beat her, that could be powerful evidence. Yeah. I'm just trying to get, like, my whole thing, I'm trying to get inside the head of this dude. That is so batshit to me that I don't even know. So I think there's like a weird dividing line with people in this particular department, okay? So have you ever heard the term makeup sex? If you're a grown-up, I assume that you have, right? Like, that's like a very common term. People are like, oh, yeah, then we have great makeup sex. Dude, that is a foreign concept to me, dude. Both my wife and I, we're both like, dude, that shit's fucking weird, okay? That's the last goddamn thing that I want. If I'm actually, I mean, we never fight, so it doesn't really matter. But like when I had girlfriends that I fought with, dude, that was definitely not a thing, like at all. Like if I'm actually mad enough to like argue and fight with someone, I don't want to be fucking near them, you know? Like, so I don't understand that. And so to extend on that, if you're mad enough to throw a fucking bottle at a girl, and then right after that, you're all, okay, hey, go ahead and continue the show. Like that is insane to me. That's like completely insane. It's like, obviously I just traumatized you. You're a little girl and I'm beating you up and dominating you, but go ahead and get back on that bed and perform for me with this dude. This guy is a piece of work. Daniel Phillip is being questioned about how often he saw Cassandra Ventura under the influence of drugs. Phillip testified yesterday that it was only once, and at that time, Combs canceled their planned sexual encounter. Wow. So she was sober every time. So she was sober. Well, I mean, at least he didn't see her doing drugs. That's interesting. So here's the thing. Phillips also said he didn't care if he got paid one way or the other. He wanted their relationship to be deeper, and these deeper than just these voyeuristic sex nights. He said, had she ever given me the chance to date her, I absolutely would have. Shit. If you want to get your fucking car blown up and then you get your throat slit in your sleep, dude, or actually, more likely, you would die of pneumonia, and no one would ever test you to see if you had cyanide in your system. Okay, that's enough for today. Well, for now anyway. There's probably going to be a lot more later, but that's what's up. Love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Bye-bye.